Call the meeting to order. Slap. And acknowledge that the Smokeman Valley in which we learn, work, and organize is the ancestral, traditional, unceded territory of the Smokeman people, home of the Upper Smokeman Indian Band. I have two amendments to the agenda. 11.1, Indigenous Engagement Funding Program, and 11.2 is a request from the Chamber of Commerce. With that, can I get a motion to accept as amended?
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Elliott, Councillor McLean. All in favor? Carried. Adoption of the June 18th minutes.
Make that motion, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Willis. Seconder, Councillor Gould. Errors or omissions? All in favor? Carried. Minutes from the July 7th special meeting of council.
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Gould.
Second that, Mr.
Councillor
Mayor.
Willis. Errors or omissions? All in favor? Carried. We have no delegations, so that takes us to staff report number 1, which is 6.1, social media contract and update. Gary.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll start here, and then I have a presentation as well. So this is requesting for council. So this is something that has been ongoing. Actually before this council started, I put out a call looking for someone to do some work for us for social media and for marketing in general to help with doing presentations and things like that. So I put out a call when Councillor Turkstra was the Economic Development Liaison, and we reached out to Emily Carr Institute, the Thompson Rivers University Kamloops, and then I was looking for someone who was coming out of school that had some experience working with social media, doing up marketing and different things that could put visuals to some of the things that I was thinking of the direction we were going. So we had people respond from all of those places in the interview process. I ended up going with Luke McBain and his company's 3030 Stories. He operates as Luke McBain because he's a sole proprietor and has contractors that work for him. So it's a standard way of him setting up his business. And over that time, in the last 7.5 years, I've used him for numerous projects, and he's helped us with the marketing, the boards that you've seen when we pitched the different ideas, whether that was for the statues or the plaza. Drone footage we've shot with him over the industrial park. We've used it for advertising, and the latest thing is the last few years we've been using it for social media marketing. And up until now, it's been on a month-to-month basis. We've had no contract with them because it's been a monthly. So we're looking at now to just lock that in for a 12-month term because of the amount of money that is. Council has put aside $200,000 for marketing, external promotion. It falls within our budget. We're perfectly on budget. We don't go over in the marketing budget, and we've seen pretty substantial results is what we've had BCEDA award in 23 and 25 and SILGA in 24. So our efforts have been recognized provincially as well as locally. And if I can switch over, I'll go into presentation. Just need a second to set it up.
Yeah, something's caught here. Yeah. Thank you. Got it. There.
Good to go, James? Okay, so this is just a general overview of kind of the marketing strategy that I've employed here. We've broken it down. So this kind of shows some of the detail of what we're working with to attract our audiences. You'll see that goldfish example of 9 seconds, and then you'll see our example is 3 to 5 seconds for people. When I did my master's in 27, that actually was 8 seconds. So it's gone down since 2017. That number has gone down again. So it's very difficult to grab the attention of people. So it's very focused. So some of the marketing we're doing is to try and anticipate that and to capture that audience. It's not about what you're doing. It's about the stories we tell, and that's kind of what we're doing with social media. And this just kind of rehashes again with the money that's been set aside for the 2025 budget for external promotion. And we've seen that, is to increase foot traffic and drive traffic to our businesses and get people in town. And we're looking, that's obviously the goal of our marketing. It's for community-based economic development. So I employ this formula here is kind of what I use. It's a 70-20-10. And it breaks it down. So 70% of our content is the core content. So that's regular social media updates, content and SEO, search engine optimization for our website, billboards that we use, print advertising, things like that. So you see, if we're in BC Business or Invest BC, RV magazines, different things like that. We go with this traditional media. We'll do some radio as well. We've done some targeted marketing, again with Castanet and things like that. 20% of this is a little more aggressive, and what we do there is we'll do A/B testing. So I'll run different ads to see how they respond, and this is kind of what, if you'll see their posts in Castanet, you'll see a little billboard that's up at the top or on the side. And we'll monitor that and see what kind of traffic it gets with the message we're sending. So I'll take the analytics off of that, look at the numbers, see what's working, and then we'll do adjustments as needed, or we'll repeat as needed, depending on what it is. Some of the other parts are, now with threads and reels and stories. Threads is a new option that we've just started to add, and we're looking at expanding that because of the popularity of it. And then I'll also do personalized email campaigns, and that's through the RV park. So we capture everybody's information when they book with us. We have about 8,000 emails through our RV people guest bookings over the years. And what I do is in January, when the province is putting the sites on sale, is we'll do a targeted email to all of our past customers and have them actually put our options up on the same day. So when people are having a hard time logging in to the province, they're able to log in on ours, and we see an increase of bookings for doing that between $15,000 and $20,000 it generates off of a single email campaign in January. It gives us a nice jump start to the RV season. And then the final 10%, this is a little more experimental or risky, so you'll see that we do that through our VR experience. We'll do some geo-targeting where we're putting ads out. We might have someone logs in and is doing a search in Osoyoos, they might see Princeton Visitor Center pop up if they're in the Osoyoos Visitor Center, or if they're in a Penticton Visitor Center, we've done ads like that have targeted people searching in those areas. And then the other one was this year, we did the Animation Festival, and we were using some influencers with that to help promote the marketing. So there's some of the key benefits that we have, why we're doing so active in social media. And it's highlighted there. So cost effectiveness, it allows us to target. It gives us, performance tracking and analytics. So that's something I go over constantly to see how the ads are doing, and we're able to be reactive off of different things as they go. We can check our engagement, see how many people are getting involved with what we're doing and their interactions, whether are they liking it, are they sharing it, are they doing, we can monitor all that information. There's just a wealth of knowledge that we can get from the analytics. The other nice thing is the flexibility and speed that we can do. So if we have an ad that's a dud, it's not like before, if you put an ad in a magazine, you're stuck with that ad. We can adjust it and do a very simple fix, and we're ready to go again within hours or the next day or whatever the case may be. We usually like to let it go a little bit to see what kind of response it's getting, but if we need to change it, we will. And it gives us a bigger reach, as opposed to being in a magazine or even a regional advertisement. Now we have a global way of getting it out there, and we're seeing international visitors coming and across Canada, across the US, and I have some more information on that as well. It gives us lots of opportunity for different content, and we can do different things with it to keep it interesting. So here's some advantages I've just outlined if you've seen this, and having it managed or sourced in-house. The main thing that I've seen is when we tried to do this before, we used something called CrowdRiff, and it was pretty much in-house. The problem is we don't have the staffing to keep up with the amount that needs to be done on there. It's just not possible. So we were paying for this service, but no one was, we were putting up our posts, but we weren't getting the participation outside of what we were putting up, which is defeating the whole purpose of it. We just don't have the strength for that. And you can see some of the, I'm not gonna go through each one, but you can see some of the advantages there. So the benefits, we get the exposure, and we're constantly pushing the town's brand. We're driving traffic to our website because it's the search engine optimization we're getting out of this is benefiting our web traffic. We're developing a loyal fan base, and so what that's doing is we're finally seeing we're seeing people that like the Town of Princeton pages because they like it. We don't use any bots. We're not using any paid advertising, so all of our followers are generated because they want to be there. So you'll look at other communities and you'll see these big numbers of, you know, what's on there, and you can kind of tell that there's a heavy bot driven based on the amount of comments and if different things, whether it's passed on or liked and things like that will determine. It's pretty easy to see. It gives us the audience insights, as I mentioned. You know, we can check again, the likes, shares, comments, sales generated if it's for the RV park. It allows us to do some collaborative reach with our brand and similar audiences. So people that have interest in what we're doing or similarities, they'll show up in their feeds. So we do some collaborative reach, and we did this through this year, we did it through Vancouver Film School. So Vancouver Film School's got one of the largest student blog audiences that are out there. So when we did the animation festival, they shared that with their blog, which is 95,000 plus people that it got shared with. The Okanagan-Thompson region was through some local influencers that did some things here on camping, and then the Wild Animation Festival was through some of the people that participated. So we had the designer from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. He has a sizable audience, and another one called Eat Your Peas. They have a big audience, and they shared all these designers shared it with their groups, and that was another 25,000 that got tracked. So again, this is the biggest tool we have to bolster our community economic development, is through social media. And this is some of the things that we do, some of the campaigns we run. So we've run the wildlife and nature. So we did like Wildlife Wednesdays, where we were showing different animals we've captured and things like that, and bring people aware. We've done promoting events like the rodeo, the Light Up Posse, and then promoting businesses. We've done things like Museum Mondays, where we're showcasing the museum. We've done stuff with the RV park. We've done stuff with the visitor center. So in order to be effective with social media, we're using a lot of different platforms. We're trying to cover them all. So you'll kind of see a list here of, I've just kind of outlined them, and you'll see the age demographics that are using that. And we keep that in mind too with what kind of ads we're running and where we're targeting. So you'll see Facebook. Facebook is probably our least used. I personally think it's the least effective for what we're trying to accomplish in terms of getting the traffic that we're after. And you'll see Instagram. We're very heavy into Instagram. That's probably one of our biggest ones. And now we're getting more into these new emerging ones here. So you'll see Pinterest, X, Twitter, and then Threads. TikTok, sorry, not Twitter. X is now. So Pinterest, you'll see this is how many active users there are worldwide, and it just you'll see that number, like it's a broad reach off of an image site. So we've started to get into this. So we'll post pictures of Princeton and different things going on here, and we'll link those pictures, and they'll all be linked that direct traffic back to Princeton. So Pinterest is actually really good, because if you click a picture that you see from Princeton, we can put a URL to match it to drive it back to our website or to where we want the traffic to go. So this year is something new. We've just started adding the Pinterest. X, formerly known as Twitter, we're running posts on that. You'll see the demographic there. It's kind of interesting. It's a higher, the per capita income of that group seems to be higher. TikTok has been the big game changer out there for social media. This has been the numbers that we're able to generate off of TikTok and where the traffic is coming from and the information we get has just been amazing. And I'm older, and to be honest with you, I'm amazed that people spend as much time on TikTok as they do. But you'll see that the average user spends 25.5 hours per month on TikTok, and for the most part, that's watching 30-second videos. So that's a lot of video time if you break that down. And now we've gotten Threads is another new thing that we've started to do, and that allows us to show larger posts in length, longer videos, things like that. It's very important. We're targeting our Gen Z customers with Threads, and you can see how popular Threads is. I just did a breakdown here of what it took to get 100 million users on these other platforms, and Threads did it in 7 days. What Instagram did in 2.5 years, they did it in 7 days. So it's incredible the amount of people that are switching and using this platform. And I think it's crucial that we're a part of that, and we recognize that. So some of our key performance indicators or KPIs. Our YouTube platform to date's at 21,000. This is back now. To date is about 2 weeks ago, but 21,000 plus views. Our Instagram is 83,000 plus. For the month of June, our total Instagram views was 9,132 off of the rodeo, like just off of one single rodeo Instagram post we ran, and for total views of the rodeo was 18,000. So what does social media engagement mean? It's basically a long term. It includes likes, comments, shares, and clicks. We want to monitor follower growth. We can tell if our audience is growing, if they're interested in our brand, if they're interested in things that we're promoting here, and it allows us to get a long-term audience and to keep them engaged. So that's why we do as many posts as we do, is we want to keep that audience engaged and have them sharing their information with their groups. So you'll see this is the average rate based on Instagram, across the board in the hospitality and tourism sector. So the average engagement rate for the average business or company out there that's using Instagram is 3.1% on Instagram and 1.3% on TikTok. Our average engagement on Instagram is 19.28% and 5.9% on TikTok, which is, I've done a lot of marketing. That's a monster number. Like if you do pay-per-click marketing where you're paying for your ads, if you're getting a return between 1% and 3%, you're considered to be knocking it out of the park. We're getting substantially higher, as you can see through this engagement. And again, so here's our off of Twitter. That's our views off there. Threads is new. We just started doing it, and we've had 1,000 plus on that. Pinterest, as I said, is something else we've emerging into. So 661 as of a couple weeks ago. Our virtual reality at the visitor center, that's how many people have watched it as of July 1st. So I've gone in and participated and watched the VR tour and had a chance to see the Okra Bluffs and things like that. So it's been beneficial. It's something that a lot of people wouldn't have been able to enjoy and see, and it's been very well received. And there's our TikTok platform. There's 104,000 plus views on that so far. And we're seeing this trend up with likes and shares, and the rise in followers is increasing all the time. So we did a little case study here. I ran a TikTok ad in April of this year. And what we did, I took comparable dates from the 2 years prior where we weren't using this platform to run an ad. So it was basically a 22-second ad, and it just showed the new washroom facility just from the outside. It was very, straightforward. There wasn't a whole lot went into it other than showing the park. So the years we didn't, in 23, we didn't run an ad. So on those 2 dates, which I think was a Wednesday, Thursday, you'll see we booked 1,500 worth of business on those days. In 24, it's 1,700, so it's about the same. So when we ran the video this year, you'll see that the video got almost 4,800 views with over 5 hours of viewing time on that 20-second video. 3.6% of the people actually watched the full video, and the average watch time was 4 seconds. So we hit into that. It shows that number again, where I'm showing our attention spans for humans is very minimal. So we had 172 people watch the entire video, and that turned out to generate almost $5,800 in sales off of that one TikTok video for that day. You'll see the numbers there. So it was an increase of a little over $4,000 just off of one video, and that's just one example. So these are our RV park numbers, sales to date. This is as of July 1st. So we're 222,000 on July 1st. I checked it yesterday, which was the halfway mark of the month. We're 226. So we've seen, 256. We've seen about another 30,000 since I printed this. The impact, some of the bonuses. So we generated 20,000 views off of TikTok, Instagram, Reels, and Stories because of the rodeo. 2 of our rodeo videos generated 9,200 views and 976 minutes of video views. So that was 16 plus hours of people watching videos about the town of Princeton. And again, we're talking, these are short videos, so a lot of time spent watching it. We see the benefit through the visitor center. We're seeing record numbers of tourists coming through. There's a breakdown of where our visitor centers are year to date. July is on pace again. With July, we might actually crack 5,000. Yesterday was a halfway point. We were about 2,600 visitors already for July. So we're seeing a significant impact on our visitors traffic, which in turn is people walking through town and going and doing the sculpture walk and going past our businesses and getting, hopefully, seeing benefits from that too. And I have reached out to some of our businesses, and they're seeing a similar increase in their sales as to what our traffic shows. So it's working. Some of the other impact, when we run the posse videos, they're extremely popular, especially locally, but they're also, some followed outside from the different groups. In June, we'll have gained 50,000 plus views in online interactions. Again, our content is all natural. We don't use bots or paid online ads, and it's been recommended about using paid, like we could put $200 or $300 towards a paid ad. I would recommend against it because I like the fact that we're building a loyal audience through doing it the way we are, because those people will stay with us. If you're doing paid ads, they might stay for a while, but then we're going to end up losing that traffic. Whereas the way we're doing it, it's slow and steady, but in the long run, we'll see the benefits of it. And we've gotten to the point now where the town of Princeton has actually become a micro-influencer, and what that is we're in the 10,000 to 100,000 follower category. So we're actually able to control a lot of our narrative and get our message out there by doing the things we do. And once our viewers go over 1,000 on Instagram and TikTok, we'll see a big benefit too, because I know overall your numbers will start to increase, and it's just like a snowball going downhill. So some of the things, what's the next direction we're looking to take is gamification, and we're looking to do that with the statues. So I know I've talked a lot about the statues and how we're going to bring those to life, and we're finally at a spot where we've got that happening. So the idea is to actually have our animals become influencers. So we were hoping, what we'd like to do is through a QR code, and we'll have the scan that people will be able to interact with them off our phone and kind of do like a Pokemon, sort of find the clues and make a game of it. There's different things, you know, that I'm working on to make something that'll be interactive for our people coming to town. So it's more than just going to see the statues now. Now it's going to see some of the different things that they can do, or we can tie in with our business community. So this is our bear coming to life. You can see we've got him moving, and he can talk and he can do his thing, and he'll be able to get up and come off of that platform he's sitting on. So we ran this 6-second video on Instagram. We had a total of 9+ hours of people that viewed it. It's a 6-second video. So it's been very well received just off of that. And you'll see here the elk. So the elk, sorry, just need a sec. So you'll see the elk, he comes up and he walks off his platform. And that highlight there, that's similar. There's no one doing anything like that. This is like Disney level animation that we're doing with this product, and we can make him do whatever. So he may end up walking someone through a portion of the town or going to the next spot depending on where we go with the phone, but the animation is, the ability is there now. And the same goes for Fox. He lights up and he walks off the pedestal now. And that'll be interactive, and there's different things that I'm working on with that as well, for take-home options and different work with postcards that we can do, and just getting our brand out there. So it'll be a whole new marketing campaign that we'll be able to do. So it'll not only be come to the bronze sculpture walk, but we can do something like come to Princeton where our bronze sculptures come to life. Like we can do a whole project around that, which will become a significant, in my opinion, tourist attraction here for us. And again, get people walking around through our business community, which is the ultimate goal, is to drive traffic into town and benefit our businesses. So that's the end of this first one. If there's any questions at this time, I have another one, kind of shows some breakdown on TikTok that I'd like to show.
Where'd you get the number for how long the views were?
I have it on the next.
Because on the Instagram it says there's 52 minutes and 23 seconds is the total watch time for that, not
For which one?
on Instagram for the bear.
For the bear?
Yeah.
I've got another one that shows so I don't know what one that is.
Instagram. That's right on the back end of Instagram. Tells how many views, how many everything.
So, and what does the time say on that?
52 minutes, 23 seconds, 976 views, 28 interactions, 508 reach. So
Maybe I've got another thing that shows. So maybe it's a combined then. Sorry, that could be a combined with our TikTok views on there.
okay.
Either, we're still talking 6-second video, so it's still a significant amount of
Oh yeah, I'm not
time on there.
dismissing that. I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
want to know where you got your number from.
Yeah. What's that? Any questions about that part?
Switch back to the other one here.
I do have that, Spencer. I can send you that where I've got that information.
Okay.
Gary, do you have any numbers on the museum?
In terms of traffic,
Yeah,
Hey,
because I think you're bringing people in numbers. And I see a lot of them walking around and they're taking pictures of the animals and all that sort of thing. I just wondered, because I usually see a lot of cars down by the museum, and I don't know whether it's a kid or whether it's a museum.
well, I talked to Todd a couple weeks ago about that, and he said traffic numbers were very similar as they were last year for the museum. I guess they're consistent.
Is there anything involved in what you're doing in terms of
When we were doing the Museum Mondays, I think it was helping draw the traffic in there. We haven't done Museum Mondays for a while just because we were mixing it up, but I think it's something to put back in there to help bring in traffic there. It's definitely beneficial.
Because prior to all this, we used to believe that was an anchor of our, you know,
Right.
tourism attraction to the
Yeah.
town sort of thing.
Yeah, I would say the visitor center and the sculptures have taken that over, like the amount of people that come into the visitor center just because of the appearance of it and what we have to offer in there and getting the information. It's been really, the traffic has been crazy. We had 3 weekends ago, we had 347 people come in on a Saturday. Like, we've never had that before, like never 300 plus. And we're seeing that. So a year ago, I would say our average traffic is, 100 plus people. Now we're seeing more, almost double that. We're seeing closer to 200 is kind of the average right now. So this is just another little presentation here and it goes into a little more depth on the TikTok analytics. And it breaks down some of the things like views and play time and average watch time and how many people watch the full videos, our new followers, our returning viewers, new viewers, followers, non-followers. You get the definitions there. I won't go into detail on all of those, but you can see them. So if you look here, so this is one of the videos that we ran. It had 1,849 views. This is off the TikTok. This is off the TikTok analytics. 6 hours and 13 minutes. This is a screenshot. The average watch time 10 seconds. 8% of the people watch the full video. And this gives you a breakdown of where the traffic is coming from. So the For You is people that have similar interests on their feeds and they're getting it sent to their feed. They're seeing us. You get almost 8% is doing it through a search, and then you'll see the other, and some is coming through personal profile. 1% is coming from those that follow us, directly. And then you'll see what are they searching for. So people are looking for Princeton and Princeton, BC. You'll see that numbers. That's what they're doing to find us. Things to do in Princeton, BC. You'll see those are the most popular search terms for that video. On the next one, you can see the age demographic that's looking at it, and what we've got there that's really encouraging to me is that it's a sandwich, and we're hitting all the ages at different levels to a similar amount. So we're not stuck with one particular age group. We're hitting a very consistent broad range from people 15 to 65 plus, which is really, really good. 92% of our traffic is Canadian based. You'll see the other countries there that where it's come from. So there's probably, somebody in Ghana, somebody in Australia, the UK, different things like that. And you'll see, sorry, 1 second, just gotta clear you'll see where they're coming from in Canada. So we're hitting the greater Vancouver region. You'll see the Okanagan Similkameen is listed there, 22%. Fraser Valley, Thompson Nicola, and then Central Okanagan. Again, this breaks down our viewers, how many are returning viewers, how many are new viewers, percentage of male versus female. And again, you see that age demographic, like we're right across the board, about the same, almost, within a few percent of every age demographic on there. And again, here's some more of the video analytics. Like this is a different video now. So this is the rodeo one, and you'll see the numbers there. That one had 10 hours plus of views. 1% watched the full video, so a decent number. Again, we're over that average, that 3 to 5 second for time. You'll see the breakdowns again here of ages and analytics, where they're coming from. I've just got different examples of this here so that you can again see the search inquiries and what they're looking for. So we're getting traffic from other rodeos too, where we're coming up in the feed, and so Princeton's being recognized in there. This is the one we did for the RV park, and again you'll see the non-followers and followers, the views, and you'll see every time we're picking up new followers. Like see that number 9. So we got 9 new followers from that, and it's not a lot, you think, when you see that, but when we're running the amount of videos that we run and we're adding 5, 6, 9, that number adds up rather substantially. Again, here's the video analytics from it, where they're coming from, the search inquiries. Again, same thing with the traffic. This is one, and the reason I put this one on there, this is something different we've done. It's just a fun thing with trivia. So you'll see there's 226 video views, and for 19 minutes, so we just asked a couple little local trivia questions, and people participated. And you'll see where the traffic came from. And this actually breaks it down, and it shows when you're looking at TikTok is able to actually tell us how many people from Princeton are watching our video. So on this video, we had 9% of the people were from Princeton. We had 20% of the people came from Vancouver that were answering our trivia question. And the same thing with our other traffic. We had people from Calgary and Victoria. So our traffic is not just strictly based on people locally. People locally are following it, which is good and what we want, because that says something about our brand. If we didn't have local people following, we would have to probably take an evaluation at what we're doing and see what our brand message isn't there if they're not comfortable sharing it and doing that as well. And again, this is just another one for the 34-second video we did on statues and the view time. And again, the searches are consistent, you see. And again, there's the breakdown of where they're coming from at the bottom. If you can see that, you'll see Vancouver, again, is very popular. Osoyoos, Surrey, there's Princeton at 4%. And any questions on that one? Okay, that sums it up. My recommendation is that I'm looking to do this 12-month contract. We benefit greatly. I know for a fact that we have a grandfathered rate in there. I know that he does that for other communities who are paying 3 times what we pay, and we get a lot of information. We have 20 terabytes worth of data and video, which would shut our servers down if we put it on online. I have a 2 terabyte hard drive of pictures and video in my office, and we have another 18 terabytes or 10 terabytes now, I think, that we've loaded up that we'll be able to put into a cloud-based option where anybody on staff will be able to pull pictures from it. But if we start adding things like all the raw video footage, which is a type of file, it's monstrous amount of information, because this has been going on for 7.5 years. And the reason why I want to keep doing this is there's a consistent brand here, and when I work with him, we meet twice a week online to go over what we're going to do for the week and where we're planning for the month, and we go through it. The other thing too is there's plenty of times that this is going on after hours. When I was off with my knee, this is going on weekends and things that we were working on. And if I have a question, I can call him and find out basically any time. He's providing a very quality service and able to run some ideas. So if I come up with something that I'm looking to do and we want to get it out there, we can do that as well. That is my report. Thank you.
I have questions on the contract and how it goes in line with our purchasing policy. So, in your report, you state that he's done 51 projects since 2018, and pre-tax total of $294,000, and then divide that by the 51, you get your average that you give there, $5,700. And then you say it fell within the range of the director's authorization. So is it not cumulative? And if we're committing to it, even if it is month to month, is that not a requirement to come to council?
I guess that's a better question for finance, but I look at it similar as when we hire an electrician to do work, or we hire one of our trades that's doing a project for us. That's kind of how I see it. That doesn't come before council every time we need that as well. And I kind of look at him as a contractor. That's how I've viewed it. So
right.
If that's the case, then that's why I'm here, I guess.
So there you just say you view him as a contractor, and then the purchasing policy, we should have an agreement in place, so. So those are my questions in that line on our past, but I know now we have something in front of us now to actually have an agreement in place. And then in that, with what you've included, it looks like that's probably his proposed contract?
That is, yeah, that's the one I've discussed with him on something that I'm comfortable with our budget.
Okay, but the contract, I don't know as though that's kind of, and again, that would be probably Vlad or CAO and finance to talk about to ensure that the contract's in line with our standard contracts and our liabilities and ownership of product, and also the term's not really laid in there. So I think there's some tweaking that needs to be done on the actual contract before we accept it.
Yeah, I agree. So the reason I had this brought forward is because to date we've spent well over $300,000 on this contractor, and you know, if it didn't keep popping up, I wouldn't have known about it, because it is under, you know, the way that was done, it was under the allowable amount for it to happen. But when you look at it and the price tag at the end of the day, there should have been a contract in place with council approving it prior to this point. You know, last year, Luke was on the Sophie, and the year before, and, you know, started asking questions because all of a sudden, these weren't $5,000, they were $9,000, and, you know, they kept going up, and then he was doing other work for us, and whatnot, and there was no paperwork for anything. So I'm concerned about that. This contract, right now as it stands, I can't sign it as it is, because, well, one, there's no place for me to sign it.
Okay.
We need this to be looked at. You know, this, I'm not going after the work. It's the process that's here, that we've got to this point. I think that's where I'm really concerned, because $5,000 a month for, or whatever, 50, whatever the number is, 5,500. Okay, but it's not 5,500, right? Like last year it was what, almost 90? 83, right? So that's well over this number, 69.
So this is for the social media portion of that program, but there's different things he's done. Like, he's done some VR work for us separately. He's bought the TVs for me instead of us having to go out and do it. That's all been included in there, where he's picked them up in Vancouver and brought them down. So there's been items that he's purchased on our behalf, or my behalf, to save us from having to get them. Just out of convenience that he's just done that, so to save me a step and to speed it up, because he's come from Vancouver and he's come down to do it. So that some of that in there is purchased items as well.
Okay.
To a degree. I mean, it's not a large portion, but there is a portion in there.
So before I'm comfortable signing this, and just so council knows, before I'm comfortable signing this, I need this proposed contract gone over and most likely rejigged so it actually looks like a contract and not like an agreement between two guys, right? Like this is become a lot of money, and if you want it to be a ongoing project and an ongoing thing, then I think we need to have a proper contract where there's a review process and clauses and all that sort of thing, because right now this is, as it stands, it's not what we would sign with one of our other contractors, right? So I'm looking for comments or whatever from council. Like I said, it's not about the content, it's about the process and about what we're doing, and we have to stay above board. So do you want to table this until staff, just refer it back to staff so they can get a contract written up?
Personally, yes, I think our CAO needs to be involved in this, and then making sure that the liability, because there's, like, which I wasn't aware of, and I appreciate those videos. I was one of the many that watched it a few times of the rodeo, because I like the drone footage, I like the aerial of it, but we've got to make sure that if they're doing it on our behalf, that they're properly licensed and everything.
And they are. He's got the NOTAM.
We just need to make sure that we have that all documented.
He's able to do that with his drones and get them up flying here in town because he has that licensing. If the average guy tries to fly the drone, that you can see it comes down.
Yeah.
But he does have.
But that's where in the contract, and I support what Mr. Mayor is saying as well, that we gotta ensure those kind of clauses and liability insurances and all that stuff's written into the contract and agreement, so. I think we can table it until we can have that time to discuss that, cause that should also be in camera when you're talking details in the contract,
Sure.
and then come back to it.
Does anybody disagree?
Yeah, I think, man, there's a lot of stuff that, that's been done over the 7 years. I just think, yeah, obviously if the contract needs to be went over, and, I think all contracts are went over by our legal team or whoever,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, they need to meet our purchasing policy, and they need to be, so we're not the ones liable, because right here it says he's not the one liable for any incidentals, unless we have to be able to cover our butts, lack of a better term, but on how we move forward. Because like if that drone does crash, we don't have anything in writing that says that we're not the ones liable for him working on our behalf, right? So we need to make sure our contract is done properly, so.
Which is standard.
If council will, then I'll ask for a motion to refer this to staff to have, or to the CAO for a contract to be drawn up, to be brought back to council at the earliest convenience.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chair, as you stated.
I'll second that.
So I don't know when Lyle's gonna be back for the office.
And in the meantime, is it an ongoing commitment, like monthly?
That's what we were doing up until now. It's a month-to-month basis.
So we can,
But like committing to the next month already, like it's not.
is he doing work right now for us?
We were still on 1 month to go. I mean, I caution to stopping it because we will lose traffic. I caution, I advise against us going cold turkey and stopping it, but that's
So-
entirely up to you guys.
So
That's
let's
not the
do-
motion, Director. The motion is just to defer to review the
Right.
contract. But that's why I'm asking, is it something
So
that they can
let's
continue?
finish this motion, and then we can talk about another. Are you stretching or your hand up?
If we had any input from staff in terms of the direction that you people are going,
Well, this is when we got
have
the
we had
contract.
anything?
Yeah,
from-
right now,
Pardon me?
right now,
From who?
from Gary. Lyle did not know about the total value of this contract when I brought it
But
up
the
to him.
concerns that you're raising about the
I don't know if Lyle
thing
saw
from a
this before
legal
he left.
point of view.
Did he?
You should, yeah.
No, I had no other, this is.
So we
this is
got
the only-
nothing, this is coming from Counselor Gould and yourself in terms of.
I won't sign this as is.
Exactly. So was there any indication from staff?
No, Lyle, when I got this, it was after Lyle left. I didn't see the contract until after Lyle left.
But this has been going on for,
Oh, the other stuff, I brought this to Lyle a few months ago and I asked for a report. Gary was, I believe, away still. And
Actually, I had a report done, but then things happened with getting canceled out.
okay,
It just kind of fell to the waste. It was one of those ones where it got pushed.
but I didn't see the contract until after Lyle left.
Isn't it standard for someone else to look at the contract? I don't understand the big issue.
Yeah, usually, but
So-
it hasn't been done yet.
No, because we were on a month-to-month, that's why.
Yeah,
it's-
so that's, I mean, it's like, so there's this contract here, yeah, let's look at it.
So
Is there any
let's
issue?
vote on the motion on the table, which is to send this to Lyle to get it reviewed. So let's, all in favor of that? And opposed? Okay, Counselor Elliott is opposed.
You don't want them to look at the contract?
I don't have a problem with that. I just,
You just said you did. You just said,
It's okay, you don't have to debate.
yeah, I
that.
don't need to explain my vote.
So, it is up now, council wishes to proceed for this month
Yeah.
under the ongoing agreement that Gary has with Mr. McBain, then we can have a motion to that effect so that the momentum is not lost. So does somebody want
I'll definitely make that
to?
motion.
Councillor Elliott is
And I'll
making it,
second
Councillor
that.
Colle is seconding it, for the total value of whatever's in that.
I think it's 55 plus taxes, so 5770 or
That's
something.
the, I believe that's the total.
Just so it's in the motion. Any discussion on that? All in favor? Carried. Okay,
Okay,
that's it.
thank you.
I just repeat my concern that this is coming from yourself and Councillor Gould. I wish CAO was here to ask him the question.
So do I.
So do I.
Is this passed by you until it's got to you two, sort of thing? Because in my mind, if there's a problem with this from a legal point of view, from a liability point of view, then we should have been getting some kind of a indication from,
CAO. And like I said, I did not see it until after the CAO had left, and there was no opportunity to discuss it, so.
no, but this has been going on for quite some time.
The other stuff, yeah, and that's why originally I proposed that this goes in camera, and it would never did. So we're having this discussion right here now today, so.
So did Lyle say for us to look at that contract and sign it?
Lyle-
Lyle saw the
Lyle's not
contract?
Lyle just said it was coming to the agenda, so.
He didn't have nothing to say with it?
No, he,
I feel like this whole thing should have been with Lyle here, I think, but.
That's why we're deferring it. So we'll have-
okay. The next one is BC Transit 2025-2026 Annual Operating Agreement. And this is just the, James, this is just the standard agreement, right?
Yeah, so it's, every year we have the BC Transit requires us to renew their operating agreement. Community Services runs it on behalf of the town, but the actual agreement is between Transit and the town, so. It's a standard boilerplate one we get every year, we have to approve it annually.
Motion,
Ask the question.
yeah,
There's no change to the route yet, right? This is still,
That's right,
As is, we haven't
the provisional transfer of Route 50, I believe, is the 2026 to start off with.
okay.
Is that right?
yes, next budget,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, because of the bylaw just passed.
Yeah, the regional district takes a considerable amount of time to pass bylaws when it comes to new services, so.
Because it had to go to public assent.
Yep, for sure.
So the motion is the council, or the town of Princeton approve the 2025-2026 BC Transit Annual Operation Agreement between the town of Princeton, BC Transit, and the mayor and chief administrative officer be authorized to execute the necessary documents.
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councilor Elliott, second. Councilor Gould. Any last comments? All in favor? Carried. I'm going to recuse myself on this one, so Councilor McLean, you can. Just stay there if you want. Or what? You can just stay in your seat if you want. Read it.
So, first of all, what is the annex building?
So that's the old Fortis building.
The old Fortis building. Right beside the park?
Okay,
We're the building department and recreation
so we have a
and
recommend.
bylaw.
And
So why did the mayor have to excuse himself?
Look, read down there, it's who's doing the work.
The contracts.
The contractor
proposed-
is related.
The proposed bidders, has a relation, like he has to recuse himself because he's.
Oh, I see.
Right?
Okay, so, what is we're talking about the council reviews, the three quotes received for the replacement of the heating and air conditioning system at the old Fortis building. And that council awards a contract for the replacement and heating, cooling equipment at the town annex building to GPH Mechanical Limited at a cost of $72,673.20. I don't see any paper as to this was the leak.
He's another bid.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, there's other bids there.
So Chris Poole is
Is it? Oh,
here
is
to
it
talk
in?
on that.
Oh, okay. So we need a motion
I
to,
think,
oh, fly at it.
Fill in some answers.
Explain this to me.
Morning, council. So the building that we acquired off Fortis had an aging heating system. It had multiple heating systems and air conditioning systems in it to maintain a comfortable ambient temperature. Unknown to us when we acquired the building, the air conditioning unit upstairs for the upstairs floor for bylaw, Maureen, and emergency services, that system was actually non-operable. It was dead. And then our first summer of being in there, the AC unit for the rest of the building died. That winter, the heat pump died. We actually had some frozen water lines. A local contractor was able to get us some heat going again, and we've just kind of been throwing Band-Aids at it, replacing motors, doing this, doing that. This has come up that we knew kind of from day one that we needed to do something. It's taken this long because I was trying to go through a engineering firm, BES, to look at some new technology, a gas absorption heat pump. That turned out to be a very complex unit and very, very pricey. So I reached out to 2 other contractors to give us a quote. I gave them a verbal request for quote of what our expectations were. Ideally, if we could do 1 heating system, that would be great, but if the building's sized out for 2, let's do 2. The 2 individuals came back, or the 2 contractors came back with very different quotes. One from Josh Coyne Contracting, and then the one that I'm recommending from GPH Mechanical. When you go through the 2 quotes, there is very large items, key items missing from one quote to the other quote. From GPH's line item, crane time, connections, redoing a bunch of the ductwork for us, putting in a new air handling unit for recirculation air that I requested everyone to do. The other quote did not put that in his quote. So I'm requesting that council really consider and grant the GPH is, there is still some electrical components that will need to be ran, some power ran to upstairs to the rooftop and some power to the unit itself. So there is going to be an electrical cost that's not in here. I don't foresee it being a huge cost. It sounds like the power that the wire that is currently ran to the rooftop should be good to run the new heat pump units. GPH has also looked at it and actually has split the building into 2 zones. So we are going to have a gas furnace for upstairs with an air conditioning and heat pump, and one for downstairs for Parks and Recs, our little boardroom, for our front counter, and then Alan and my office, which is kind of in the middle of the building, and the basement. So it's going to be nice that we'll have the control for the 2 zones. Other than that, yeah. Any questions?
so we don't know what grants for that.
Oh, yes. So I got a hold of Elizabeth. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce her last name. It sounds like the GPH, I might be able to get $2,000 per heat pump unit. So one for downstairs and one for upstairs. I did not give her the numbers, the equipment numbers for the other quote. I can get that to her. If it's going to be anything, it'll probably only be the 2,000 because it's a dual fuel and we're commercial, not residential. So you don't get that old big $10,000.
My only other question is, are we not getting a lot more for like the $220,000 with the $134,000 off?
So that unit is still I'm apologize, I'm not too sure why only one breakdown of kind of what was entailed in that. He actually gave me 3 budget costs. That is a very complex unit. So it's a gas absorption heat pump. Very simplest terms, take your RV fridge and heat and cool your entire building with it. So it's a unit up on the roof, burns very, very little gas. It's got an ammonia chiller in it. It extracts heat and cool, but then you have to have a hydronic system. And if it can't make it up, you have to have a backup boiler. So now we're looking at either a gas furnace still or a boiler unit. And boilers run $2 to $5 grand. Pardon me?
That's not included in the 220?
No, that is in the 220. But then it just becomes a very large unit for maintenance, and I'm not sure if there's anyone in town, maybe 2 plumbing companies that might be able to babysit that for us in the future. And we would have to look at building a maintenance schedule with them and try to loop it into this price and say, hey, what are your commitments for warranty? But the more and more I'm involved with that idea, it's not what I thought it was going to be. I had hoped it to be better. I was hopeful. But I firmly believe that the GPH 2 systems is going to fit all our needs.
Okay, so Chris, I asked you earlier, and you even just touched on it, that, like, what was the RFP? Because it's kind of hard to compare that. You have 2 very different quotes that
Yes.
you're presenting, so it was kind of like, okay, what
So-
was the ask? And you mentioned you did it verbally.
Yeah, yeah. So I in phone calls invited them in individually, and I said, this is what we have downstairs. This is what we have upstairs. This is what we used to have that was removed during the renovations. There was a couple electrical heat sink baseboard units. So these were the issues that we've had in the very short period of time that we've had the building. I said I would love 1 unit if we can, but if you size it out based on all the regulations in the heating world, if we need to, we need to. And 2 of the companies really looked at that and took that, sized it, took the time. I'm not saying the 3rd company didn't. 2 companies don't think 1 can do it.
So this second bid that doesn't have this a whole separate unit is it says install a gas furnace. So it actually does have a second unit, like install high efficiency 2-stage American Standard gas furnace to mechanical room.
That's for the
Josh Coyne contract.
yes, okay. So the quote for that is 1 gas furnace for the basement, and he's calculating it that's going to heat and cool. So it's a gas furnace and a heat pump.
Okay.
So in the colder months, when the heat pump can't run at minus 35,
There's a back.
the gas kicks in.
Great.
The way he sized it is he's suggesting that will heat our entire building. The history of the building doesn't show that. And the other 2 companies that gave me my quotes and did the sizing both don't feel that 1 furnace can
Okay, so
achieve.
this isn't about like fixing, like in your report too, you said the current system is inoperable as of December 2025. So right now we have no functional heating in the building, as heating elements from air handler 1 were disconnected to reallocate power to the new bench.
Yes,
Okay, so that's a whole other issue I'm gonna ask you about.
Yes.
But, okay, so this air handler 1, you had said also that was damaged, was replaced in 2024, and then it's since failed.
yes. So that air handler was an older design. So air handler being just a gigantic fan moving air throughout your building. Partnered with that, we had a box about the size of the podium and about this tall, and that had clay bricks in it as a heat sink. It would heat the bricks up, and then it would, like a heat exchanger, pull the heat off that and heat our building. We continuously had issues with the fan that would pull it from the main blower, circulate it through there and put it back in. It started cycling and we were losing heat. Like it wouldn't heat our building.
Right, it was just blowing cold air instead of the
Well,
warm.
it wasn't even so much blowing cold air, it just wouldn't go through the heat sink. It just, there's a little baffle at the bottom, and it would short cycle, so it would open up, be open for 3 seconds, close.
Okay.
Wait 5 minutes, do it again. We've had that motor replaced, we had that switch replaced. It died. So the contractor at the time was able to find us some used electrical elements and turned our air handler into a furnace, which then got us through the rest of the winter
Okay.
at a very large cost of hydro. I don't have those numbers, but,
Okay, and that's the thing you disconnected.
so now that we have disconnected, and we have, our building is now supplying power to the band shell to save the costs of having to get Fortis to bring out a new service, a new pole, a new meter, and supply the band shell.
This to me seems like it's quite complicated.
It is quite complicated, and I don't want to bore
No.
everyone with all of them.
I get it, but that's where I was just wondering was maybe, because again, we don't have an RFP to see, like, the compare, like, is his quote so much less because the existing, like it says, no changes to the HRV system or branch runs? Was the expectation that they reuse that?
I
don't
in
know,
the
it's
verbal
hard to read
and
that.
the walkthrough, I asked them all to make sure it's sized, that if you're putting in a new furnace, that they supply all the connections, ensure that all the runs throughout the building are properly sized. Installers will do a balancing, so then make sure that there's enough airflow to all the rooms, all to the zones. I asked for all of that, and that quote doesn't fully reflect what I asked.
Okay, so you're pretty sure that this isn't gonna be adequate?
No. And if we gave him the opportunity to come back and revise his quote and potentially put in a second one upstairs based on the other two recommendations, I feel like we'll be in the exact same price boat as the GPH.
Which then would, looking at our purchasing policy, we would then give points for being local versus
Yes.
out of town too.
Yes.
So if they were exactly the same, we
Yeah.
have policy on that.
Yeah. And GPH, I love local first. I don't live here. I live in OK Falls, so small community, same as here. Local first always. GPH is still in Okanagan Valley.
Yeah.
They are summer. They're our neighbors.
Okay, so I know nothing about furnaces. All I know is they're
I
very
don't think you're
expensive.
supposed to.
That's good, but I'm just saying that this is not apples to apples. This is different. They're not giving you the same product. But then Councillor Willis makes a good point of if the other one is even higher, but they're getting rebates, maybe is that something we
And
consider?
the scary thing, Councillor Willis, is that and again, I don't know why there was only one breakdown. There was 3 that were sent to me. The other 3 actually went up in price. So the residual outstanding balance after the grants, and
Let's leave on the right numbers.
no, that's the right number of that breakdown.
Yeah.
There's 2 other breakdowns that didn't make this document.
Like these ones.
Yeah, there's 2 more of those that I don't see on mine. So
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys have them. Yeah.
No,
So
they weren't.
one was a little less, one was a little more. But again, that system, the gentleman that came out and did all the reviews, he's not sure if that system's going to supply all our AC, all our AC needs. And then he started talking about putting in wall units in every office.
Like that.
Very similar for $3,000-4,000 a piece,
Yeah,
Yeah.
your option for it.
and not a grant.
And not a grant. And that's where also in the capital budget, which I asked the Director of Finance on, like what was the budget for this project? And it was up to 200,000
$200,000.
for, up to, but it includes all your electrical, your all
Yes.
in and everything like that. But that was all subject to like grants, like the funding formula for that is grants and then surplus revenue. So you're saying possibly with GPH, we might get $4,000 grant.
Potentially 4,000. And there's one other thing that I did make mention in my proposal, or my, I'm new to this, sorry guys. Recommendation is I have reached out, Fortis has finally got back to me. And our gas connection, I think, was gonna be $10.
That's it?
Yeah.
That was in the.
So we have service that runs past our building along Billiter, and we'll be able to, sorry, I apologize. It's gonna be $10 connection, but we have to put in 2 to 3 concrete bollards, and they're $100 a piece. So it'll be,
Under 1,000.
yeah. So, and then, yeah, they'll hook us up, and I've made provisions for a future tap, for a future addition of a potential fireplace out in the plaza. I heard rumors,
yeah.
but that's a whole nother, yeah.
So, but when you're putting it in, you put in for that in the future. Okay, so then, do we have adequate power? If you've got one blower disconnected so that you can supply that, do we have adequate power for the annex and the plaza
So,
right now, or do we need a
I'm,
service?
my background is building and construction and plumbing. Electrical is not my forte, but I'm led to believe, I hope I'm not assuming, that we could potentially reduce the amount of power going to the band shell, because currently they have a 125 amp breaker. I feel like they could potentially run off a 75 or 100 amp, which then will give us back 25. Plus there's existing breakers for the 2 heat pumps that are on, well, sorry, the 1 heat pump in the 1 air conditioning unit that are on the roof that are still accounted for in the total
Service?
usage of the building. So there should be adequate power.
But that's just something that, in your report, I just kinda like, that.
Yeah,
You have it all shut off right now because you didn't supply enough.
Well, okay, so currently right now, blower 1 is in the basement. It was attached to heat pump 1. Heat pump 1 has died, but the power is still available to replace that heat pump.
Yeah.
But air handler 1 and its heating capacity is gone. That was removed and taken to the band shell. So to put in a new gas furnace, we would only need a 20 amp breaker, not a 150 amp breaker. To heat the building with the previous heating system, it was a 150 amp breaker, 125 amp breaker. That's what we gave to the band shell.
Okay. That just seems like a lot, that.
It's very, it's, my manager and I have been over this a fair bit. It's been fun. And we
So-
currently have 7 portable roll-around AC units trying to keep our building cool.
Which is not inexpensive to run on hydro either.
No, yeah, they're,
Do you have a timeline that the contracts would be able to start?
I don't recall seeing a quote lock-in with the market and everything right now. Everything's kind of a 30-day thing for guaranteed pricing. It's about 2 to 3 weeks to get some of the equipment. Winter's coming fast.
Yeah, cause even like if you add into, if it was comparable and it would be sufficient what the contract for Josh Boyne is giving, even if you added in their crane and the scissor lift rental, that using the price of an out-of-town company's put in their quote, that's only an extra $4,300 to his. So it'd be a $25,000 bid versus a $72,000 bid, but not.
And then
A separate
the HRV unit, that,
Even if you did specifically ask for one more unit,
yeah, at about 15 to 20,000.
15 to 20,
Plus the piping, the connection, running the gas up there, because there's currently no gas at the second air handler.
you're still under 50,000 if you added it all to his. But I don't know the process if it's not the same. I defer to you.
Is that enough?
Sure, is that enough, Counselor?
You done?
I'm done. I'm deferring to more comments and information.
Well, I don't have a engineering degree in heating and cooling, and I don't have the ability to be able to, what I'm presuming is that our staff has gone through the processes, found us the most reasonably priced whatever, and we're being asked to approve it or not approve it. That's where I am.
In your opinion, GPH that runs the whole building? They're the building inspectors, they should know, right?
GPH is still gonna need an electrician to do some electrical work.
And you don't know what that's gonna be.
Source that locally. But that's not going to be an outrageous fee. Well,
So what do you want to do with this?
Well, I don't know, they're advising that, and they said, if that works, I'd make the motion to go with GPH.
Moved by Councillor Willis.
I'll second
by
that motion.
Councillor Elliott. All those in favor? Opposed?
Do you want my reasons? I just think it's not apples to apples.
Ask one thing, I don't know about cutting the power to the plaza, if that's a good idea. That's my only concern with what Chris said, is if we cut the power, are we gonna handcuff us on what we'll be able to do in that plaza by doing that? That's just my.
Honestly, that is a concern that I have too, which is kind of, like, they're two very separate things. Your need for heat and air conditioning is important. But I think somebody needs to look into that power, especially if it's if the plaza's not on its own service and it's if it's coming from there, is it adequate? That needs to be addressed.
currently we have a 200 amp, I believe it's a 200 amp service to the annex building. We were running on that 125 in our building all winter. Now that 125 is next door. They're not using 125 at best. I would imagine that they will probably never breach 80. 100 at max. So to supply, not to cut it, we can leave them the 125, that's fine. But I currently asked the contractor when they rerouted the power from our air handler 1 and the elements for air handler 1, the electrical elements, to the band shell, to at least put our air handler fan back on so we have air circulation, because our HRV unit is not working adequately. Well, it's not working right at all.
It's not working.
So we have a 15 amp breaker, like your general wall plug there for it. So, and the one quote that was given to me, the two quotes, the two lesser quotes, both seem very confident that the breakers that are in the panel right now for the existing non-functioning AC unit and the existing non-functioning heat pump unit, we will still be enough power.
I just think maybe perhaps we could ask for a report back on that, just to ensure that both Plaza
Okay.
and the annex and future expansions and the plans that have been discussed about what we would like to put in there.
Would council be okay if I used a different electrical company other than anyone that's involved in
I
this to
think we
give me
need to
that response?
I think we need to follow RFP when we're getting quotes on it, and we should do a proper, like a written RFP too. But anyways, just even, I don't know who or what, but just making sure that there's the proper service requirements for, even Director Schatz is addressing that,
Yep.
that there's a concern there. So it's two separate things.
You have
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
So are we coming back to it then?
I think,
You don't want to keep doing this?
no, I just think, we were just kind of asking about the service between the annex and the plaza, and that it needs to be looked at, and then something come back to us whether it's adequate. So just that, direct it back to staff. I don't know if we need a motion on, I think we can just ask for it to come back.
clarification,
Jared?
this has been passed then, as based on my recommendations, and you would like,
Correct.
and get an evaluation of our
Yes.
service capacity?
What was the actual motion? Was the, as the staff recommendation?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, that's,
As a
that's the
second thing.
motion.
And that's concluded, and then subject to that, further to that, with addressing him bringing the concerns about the one handler having to be disconnected to service the annex and the plaza. Director Schatz raised concerns about potentially cutting or reducing a service amount.
Jared, can you, is that your department?
Somewhat, yeah. I have the same concern as Director Schatz, that cutting the power to the plaza, like reducing, is a bad idea. If we can keep that the same.
Yeah,
we
I don't
should
wanna put
do so.
another drop in, that's gonna cost us
Well,
a
and that-
fortune, so.
If we don't have enough power from the annex to run the plaza, then we're looking at
The service upgrade.
$50,000 for a new service for the plaza.
And Chris has his hand up behind you.
Yeah,
A service increasement to the annex building would be a more economical, cheaper avenue to take ours from a 200 to potentially 300.
okay, I'm gonna leave this with Jared, cause that's public works and facilities, and that's your department, so we're gonna leave that with you, okay, Jared? I don't need
More
a-
clarification, so this is subject to that review? No. Thank you.
I don't think so.
I'm learning the steps here.
Councilman
Sorry.
Payne, not subject to. That doesn't need to be done before that proceeds, right? You're the chair who heard
It's kind of
the
a hand in
motion.
hand.
Well, if there's not enough power,
I'm
then,
missing out on half of the stuff that you're talking about, like,
so is there enough power, right, so I'm gonna go back, because I wasn't part of the conversation.
Yes.
Is there enough power for what you've proposed?
The two lesser quotes believe there is,
Without reducing the plaza.
without reducing the plaza.
There we go.
I only made that suggestion just to ensure there's no issues with the calculations of, the building is supposed to only run at 80% of the capacity of the panel. So I just, if we were to reduce it to 100 amp,
Okay, well, you work with Jared's people and you make sure it's the right one. Council's already approved it, so those are one of those.
thank you very much, guys.
So- Although Lyle and I need to sign that agreement, right? And he's not here
I will-
either, so,
I will bring the,
so you have some time there, Jared, to get it figured out.
how long am I gone for?
Now, 20, another week or two.
That'll give me time to get my guy to
we have an in camera.
get that.
Is it in camera?
Okay, next one is a development variance permit at 235 Penryn Avenue. Mark.
Thank you. This is a development variance application for currently an empty lot, for reference, across the intersection from Brandy's and the Cedar Motel. There's a proposal for a new construction up-down duplex. They've requested increase to the setback exceptions, which allow things like a porch or an enclosed stairway for an additional egress from the upper level. The increase is from 1.5 meters to 3 on the what is the Vernon frontage, which is hillside. Letters went out to neighboring properties. No feedback was provided. No concerns that way. Department referrals came back with no concerns as well.
Questions? I don't see a problem with that. Everything else is good on that lot. Okay, motion,
So moved. Oh, so seconded.
okay, moved by Councilor McLean, second by Councilor Elliott. Last chance, any comments? All in favor? Carried. Business facade improvement grant, 285 Bridge Street. Again, Mark.
Thank you. This is a facade application for the car wash downtown. They're looking to replace the siding on the front with blue metal siding. Total project estimate is just shy of $10,000. One part of this application, the owners had bought the materials in June. It's a 10%-ish of the estimate. It's about $7,000 for the install. They're asking that can be included in their application, which is contrary to the policy. Other than that, simple project. They will be required a demo permit for they want to remove the bubble at the top of their facade. Other than that, it's new siding.
Comments?
In support of this one, sorry. Although they've already purchased it, I don't think that, the work hasn't started. So it's not enough to come back from this one in support of that. It's gonna look nice.
Council's wishes?
I'll make that motion, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilor Willis. Seconder, Councilor Elliott. Last comments? All in favor? Carried. We have a letter.
I just wanted to comment on, I'm trying to remember by the Riverside, the garage there.
Oh yeah, it's looking good, isn't it?
It's excellent.
Yeah.
Too
And
bad
I know
it's
a lot of
not
it.
on Bridge Street or whatever.
Yeah.
Looking,
It is looking good, yeah.
yeah,
He was out there working till after supper last night.
yeah,
Yeah.
perfect.
Council reports. I'll start with Councilor Willis.
I have nothing to report right now, Mr. Mayor.
Councilor Gould.
Oh, sorry. No, I got to be a tourist in our town and I got to go do the VR. That was pretty cool. Went to the museum, and while I was in there, there was at least 10 other people that came through it. So it's good to see that is being well used, and actually one refers to the other while you're in there. So when you're at the museum, go see the info center. So it was cool that the VR and the animated animals, they even animated the eagle, which you didn't mention in that,
Right.
which is really cool. Like, I think Bernadette would like that, because to her, Bernadette Kelleher, she thinks the eagle's tied to the statue, so she'd like that. 'Cause he's actually free. That's something that she's mentioned before. So, yeah.
Councilor McLean.
The only thing I have to comment on is that at some point in time, if we can pile any more work on our work crew that we already have, is just looking into trying to foresee any problems as a result of wind.
Yeah.
We went through a couple trees falling down as a result of the wind. I don't know how you get around that or whatever, but also there was some, at the swimming pool, there was some facade that had to be taken down or whatever as a result of the wind. Just if at some point in time, if we ever get some time on the crew's part to be able to have a look at, see that anything that we can do in advance to offset the damage that can be caused by the type of wind that we had the other day.
Yeah, so I had a chat with Jared yesterday, and we're gonna try to do another hazard risk assessment on the trees in town. So we had one done sort of about 4 years ago, something like that. Something like that. Three or 4 years ago, and after the other day, it's like, well, maybe we better do it again. So
Who do you bring in for that, or do you?
well, that's a question we don't know.
I reached out to a few different people to see who is certified to bring forward a report like that. So
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's going to be a few trees that are going to have to come down, especially at the RV park. That one that broke, that whole tree needs to come down. And
Yeah, and there's
two at the end that need to come down.
two right by the new building that while I was down there, while looking at the one that fell, I was just like, oh, geez, please don't go.
Pole pines, they're scary things in the wind. Okay, Councilor Elliott, your turn.
Not a lot to report. I attended the Canada Day celebration in the plaza. I was very impressed with not just the turnout, but how that facility was utilized that day, and I look forward to seeing some more activities down there. I think it's going to be a downtown jewel that will attract people and stimulate some local economy, or stimulate the economy somewhat for the businesses down there. And that's my report.
Thank you. I'm just trying to remember when our last meeting was, but I think it was quite a while ago. So I did attend the Princeton Ground Search and Rescue 25th celebration back in June. It was a good turnout, and then I also attended grad that day. It was pretty tight. I got a phone call 2 days earlier that there was grad and asking if I could make it, and I was like, I'm already booked, but I'll leave one and rip over and go back. So I did. Yeah, and then let's see, what else did we have? We had a SVPS meeting down at Lower Smelcomine Indian Band Chambers. Good meeting. We discussed some stuff that we were going to work on jointly, and some future ideas, how to kind of redirect the organization back to its roots, while still keeping tourism as a top priority. Later that day, I attended Sharon's going away or retirement or whatever party you want to call it, and it was good to see her there. Councillor McLean was there as well at the same time with me. Yeah, I was of course at Canada Day celebrations. Good turnout. It was an amazing turnout. Couldn't believe how hot it was. But yeah, really good. Other than that, just regular stuff, just meetings on everything. We've had 3 meetings on the homeless situation and in the community. One was with bylaw and the RCMP and whatnot, and just trying to work through that and figure out where we're going. Yesterday I had a meeting with the is it bi-monthly now, or meeting with Interior Health? Yeah. Meeting with them. For the most part, things up at the hospital and Ridgewood are really good. We're trying to get some locums still for August, and I believe we have one coming early August. And then we have new doctors coming in early September. I'm off to UBCM meetings this afternoon, so I think that's all I have to report. The next one is a letter from the regional district to Minister Farnworth, improving response of road contractors for traffic control incidents scenes. So this is just a motion to receive and file, but it's, things that we've been talking about, how our fire departments and everybody are the ones doing the flagging instead of other people, causing burnout with our fire departments and first responders. Councilor McLean.
If we need a motion to receive.
Yep.
But the other point is, I'm wondering when you're talking to the minister, that it could be mentioned, like I'm seeing this from this point of view. My point of view is I go by work being done or incidents or whatever, where you have people, they leave their slow down, there's a problem sign,
Yeah.
everything else, long after they're gone. What that does eventually is people are going to disregard it,
Yeah.
because they go through 5 of those where there was nothing happening.
Yeah.
And then pretty soon, oh, well, there's probably nothing happening. And then you go around the corner and you're right on someone. I just think that when the incident is done, that the signs get removed as quickly as possible.
No, definitely. Yeah, I'll make a note of that. Post signage. Even up here right now with I went up to look at the plaster fire, and they're doing all the work up here, and they're doing work like in I think 3 locations up on between here and Manning. And you're going up and it's like slow to 50, and then you go along and then you're coming back. Well, those signs are all turned sideways, and then all of a sudden there's one that says 50. It's like, oh, and then there's a sign that's like tracking your speed. It's like, it didn't say it was 50 until now. And it's like, whoa. So yeah, consistency on signage is important. So you're making the motion to receive and file that one?
Yes, please.
Okay, Councillor McLean, seconded. Councillor Willis, all in favor? Carried. Yeah, so this one I think. Yeah, okay, the next one is a letter from Okanagan Regional Library. Good afternoon. As you know, the members of the council board are appointed to the regional library. This year, with the support of our fellow board members, Danielle Hubbard, CEO, and I will be assuming, with Connie, we'll be submitting requests to meet with the ministers at upcoming UBCM convention. We plan to submit meeting requests with the Honorable Sheila Malcolmson, Ministry of Social Development and Poverty Reduction, Ravi Kellen, the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, and the objective is a 20% increase in core provincial library grants, the establishment of social well-being grant, and the establishment of a climate relief grant. To assist in this effort, we have drafted a template letter. So they're asking us to sign the template letter. Yeah,
I would move that, Mr. Mayor.
thank you, Councillor
So second.
Elliott, Councillor Gould. Yeah, so the libraries are trying to get more funding from the province, but also become more of a, like a
Yeah, it's been a
relief
discussion
center.
at the ORL meetings.
Yeah.
The 23 directors are all kind of, we're all supporting this, and all of us have received letters, this very same letter to our council or board to kind of give the CEO, Danielle Hubbard, support to follow up and attend these meetings.
Yeah. Okay, any comment? All in favor? Carried, thank you. Bylaws and resolutions, fire hall temporary borrowing bylaw, James.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So, so as part of the ongoing process to secure the loan for the bylaw, the AAP was approved. The province has approved our bylaw. We have received a certificate of approval. The next step is to put in place a temporary borrowing bylaw. This uses the short-term financing ability through the Municipal Finance Association or Municipal Finance Authority to draw upon the loan funds until we have the final amount that will be done through the capital project, at which time we will turn around and ask the regional district to put in a security borrowing resolution that will convert the short-term borrowing into long-term borrowing for the 30-year period. So this is part of that process. I'm asking council approve the bylaw for 3 readings, and I'm open to any questions.
Questions? Yep.
For me, just noting that James gave a new one with just the amended dates on the actual borrowing bylaw. And does this put us in compliance, and are we on track for meeting the dates? Like,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah, so far we're still working through the other sources of funds on the fire hall. We've exhausted the Growing Communities Fund. We're working right now on the interest funding from EMCR on the 11.9 million from the Treasury borrowing, as per council's direction on the financial plan. There is a $500,000 contribution from the RDOS, which is the next in line, and then the borrowing bylaw will kick in last. So we're still working through the other sources of funds. Anticipated we'll probably need these starting next month to finish the project, but I don't know if anyone's been up there. It looks like it's coming along quite nicely. So.
And then we don't need to do any public consultation, we can just adopt it next meeting?
That's right, the public consultation came with the AAP. So the AAP's been approved, so we have it sent to the electors So now we can move forward with actually borrowing the money.
Okay, motion.
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Moved by Councillor Elliott, seconded. Councillor Gould. All in favor? Carried. 11.1, is Ed still on that call? It's just this BC wildfire call, so. Maybe.
He was getting out of his chair.
Okay, while we wait for him on that.
There he is.
Okay, there you go. Indigenous Engagement Funding Program, Ed.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. This funding is provided to us by the provincial government emergency program. It was $40,000. There was a second lift of $40,000 offered this year. We hadn't yet spent or committed the money to a purpose at that time. The money's meant to be spent on engagement and cooperative efforts with local First Nations. The challenge in determining a project was our first hurdle, and we've come to a project in the HRVA proposal and working with the regional district on that. Due to the sensitivity of some of the information that is requested be included with the HRVA by the band, they would like to offer the contract to a sole source proponent that they have worked with and have a good relationship with. The information within the HRVA concerning the upper band may not be made available, but will be a part of the final document for the regional district and emergency managers across in the provincial side of things. Our participation is to, as I said, to help to fund this project. The upper band also received a lift of this money as well, and they're placing their portion towards the same project. So the request today is that we enter into an agreement, as we have with the regional district, for the upper band to manage our grant, our grant we received from the provincial government on our behalf, and complete the project at this time.
Just, I think this is great and timely too, that we have that engagement. So the recommendation doesn't say about entering into agreement or that authorizing the mayor and council to sign that. So I just would want to ensure that if you do need that, we can.
Sorry, maybe agreement is the wrong word. I would like to direct the funds to the upper band to manage for the town.
Yeah, that's how that motion
Yeah.
meant, but then your discussion just said enter into an agreement.
Correct, that's the wrong word.
Okay. So you just want to give them money for them to
Manage
fund the
on our behalf,
program.
yes.
Then I'm okay with this motion.
Anybody else?
Second that, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. I guess you moved it.
There you go. I will move that.
Moved by Councilor Gould, second by
But I was
Councilor
just,
Rose.
if we were changing it based on your
Yeah.
report, I would say.
Okay. All in favor? Carried, thank you. The next one is, I got the letter Sunday night and I didn't see it until yesterday, so unfortunately I didn't have time to get it on the agenda. It's a letter from the Chamber of Commerce. They're working on promoting a bingo event. It's like a participate shopping in town, so we will run an event July 1st to September 30th. Each month we will have a new bingo card and we'll display the names of merchants who wish to participate. Instead of asking the merchants to donate prizes, we want to give a cash prize at the end of each month. In July, the residents must complete one line for $100, in August 2 lines for $200, in September 3 lines for $300. Residents are not required to make a purchase. They must explore each store and obtain a stamp. We respectively request that you consider donating $400 to the event. The donation will go towards the prizes as well as the cost of hosting the event. The town will be shown as a sponsor on all of our printed materials and social media. In place of prizes, this event, we thought a monetary win would pique more interest and relieve merchants from the need to donate. So they're asking for $400. Do we have $400 in our grant and aid still?
Yeah, the grant and aid will support that amount.
Okay. So I guess the request would be for a $400 grant and aid to the Chamber of Commerce for this event.
I'll make the motion, but I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is there a possibility that we could direct the chamber to send traffic to the visitor center if we're participating in this?
If the visitor center wishes to participate, then yes. It would be up to the visitor center to participate.
Yeah, thanks. That would, to me, that would make sense.
That's good. It's good for everybody.
They just get a spot on the bingo card.
Yep.
So it's moved by Councillor Elliott, seconder. Councillor McLean. Any other comments or questions about it? We've ran promos bigger than this, and
Yeah.
the chamber's running it for us, so
Sure.
gets people shopping in town. It's a good deal for me. So, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. With that, we will go to a motion to recommendation that the meeting be closed to the public for the purpose of considering the following: 90.1E, the acquisition, disposition, or expropriation of land or improvements. If the council considers that disclosure could reasonably be expected to harm the interests of the municipality, and 90.1G, litigation or potential litigation affecting the municipality. Moved by Councillor McLean, seconder. Councillor Elliott, all in favor? Carried. With that, we will now close to the public. Thank you for watching. Somebody want to go get the other participants?